Welcome to End User Input. I'm your host, Savannah. I've got sound god Tayson.
Hi.
Resident techie Justin.
Hey.
And games expert Jason.
Hey.
And this week, big news in the sustainable fuel industry. A lab has found a way to synthesize hydrocarbon fuel from carbon dioxide and water.
Would you like to fill us in some more, Justin? Okay, so I don't exactly know a lot of the chemistry behind this except for like the basics of it. But one of the things with all these sustainable fuels was that you have to produce the energy somehow. Like even with electric cars and stuff, they usually get the electricity from coal-fired power plants, which releases more CO2 into the air. This is taking existing CO2 in the atmosphere, binding it with readily available water, and binding it together into long-chain hydrocarbons, which can then be burned to release the CO2 again. So, I mean, it would be a truly zero-emission fuel. I mean, all they need to do to provide the energy, again, is like they could use solar or wind or nuclear. Yeah, pretty much anything else to provide that energy. But the reason this is such a breakthrough is because almost all of our existing technology relies on hydrocarbons to generate. I mean, you have diesel generators, you have coal-fired power plants, you have, like airplanes, cars. Everything is running on that because it was such an energy-dense fuel and it was readily available. Well, now, if we can provide that fuel by using, essentially, it works as an adapter. Yeah. And so this would just be really, really good because one of the big problems with any sort of advances in sustainable fuels is we didn't want to have to retrofit all of our endpoint technology.
It's like you still want to use your 1968 convertible Mustang.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and instead of using stuff, oil pumped out of the ground and then releasing fresh CO2 into the atmosphere, you could take existing CO2, bind it with nuclear or solar power, and then you could burn that, and then when you release that back out, it doesn't do anything.
It effectively closes the carbon cycle, which has been the major problem of our generation. So, yay! Sustainable energy!
Well, and that would be a great way to supplement, power plants that have had to be closed because they don't have, all those old coal-burning plants that have been closed, and especially on, like, the East Coast and places because they were releasing too much pollution. Now that we're not trucking in tons of coal for them to use, that might be a good way to start them back up again and create new jobs.
Yeah, like there was one, I don't remember exactly where it was, but wasn't there one just south of here, like about an hour?
Oh, yeah.
Like closed down.
They're kind of dotted throughout the country.
Yeah, but I just remember hearing when I worked in Provo about how a coal plant was shutting down because they didn't want to update. And I was putting X amount of people out of jobs and whatever. And I felt kind of bad, but at the same time, I'm like, but it's a coal plant.
So bad for the planet.
Yeah. So it's like, that would be a great way to just retrofit, kind of.
Yeah, it'd be good.
And I was just rereading through this article here.
Which we'll post a link to.
Yes. So what they do to get the hydrogen that they need, because what they do is they separate the hydrogen and the oxygen and steam to do that, and then they use the hydrogen to build the hydrocarbons.
Oh, right.
With the CO2. Well, they also so like with the CO2, they break it off, another oxygen off of it, turn it into carbon monoxide, and then that allows them with the hydrogen to build this stuff. Well, turns out that it's kind of cool. They recycle the heat from the process, and they use that to make more steam to kind of help with the process. So they're claiming an efficiency of 70%.
Which is nuts.
Very good. Yeah, it's a very good conversion efficiency. Yeah. They say it's able to do 3.2 tons per day of CO2 out of the atmosphere, which is good. It's taking that out. They say it was 7 figures, the cost of designing and building this one thing that can do, I think it said, a barrel of fuel a day. But keep in mind, this is only a single prototype.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it has the potential to really get huge amounts of efficiency while producing a very large amount of fuel.
I mean, 7 figures, I mean, even in a prototype, that's kind of scary to me. That seems, okay, maybe that's not quite as nice as I thought it was going to be.
Well, yeah, but it's a start, like...
Well, yeah, it's as it becomes more common, the technology gets less expensive to reproduce and to make more efficient. I mean, remember when CDs were like, what, $30 per disc?
Oh.
My dad does.
So I really hope they stick with developing on this because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Woo!
Sustainable energy, future!
Okay, moving right along, I suppose.
Wasn't a very long story.
No.
Well, okay.
Good
If
story,
I was smarter, I could have added more to the discussion. I know just enough about tech stuff and about physics that I get real excited when I see stuff like this being developed and coming out, and then I go to tell people about it, and they ask, "Oh, really? So what's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm not smart enough to tell you,
Cool.
because I don't know."
Or
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I know what's going on, but I don't understand it well enough to explain it to you.
Yeah, and see that's the thing. Albert Einstein, he says, if you can explain something simply, then if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it well enough, but it's still interesting. Damn it. So
Yeah. See, that's my problem with stories like that. Is I'm like, that's really cool. I can't be excited because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know.
Really clean gas.
Yeah, we can save the planet and you don't have to buy an electric car.
But I kind of want to have to buy an electric car so I can buy a Tesla. And that'll just make me
that's
happy.
different.
That's completely different. We mean without having to buy a Prius.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what?
yeah, please don't buy a Prius. Those things actually aren't that great for the environment in the first place. That's a different discussion.
Yeah.
But I had a dream of a world filled with nothing but Teslas and Tesla-like vehicles just because, despite the fact that they're electric, they're really good looking and they run well and they're actually pretty powerful. That's what you need in an electric car, not shitty little Prius on the side of the road that looks like a piece of shit. Sorry. I really
I'm
hate
sensing
Priuses.
a bit of a bias here.
I hate Priuses. But yeah,
No,
I dreamed of a world full of Teslas, and now that might not come to fruition. But oh well.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but you see, now you can buy a 1969 Camaro and not feel like a dick.
Well,
Well, you're still kind of a dick, but slightly less so.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to own that car, but owning most classic cars kind of is like that guy's kind of a dick. But they're still awesome cars, so
Yeah.
you're gonna do it anyways.
okay.
We're talking to a classic car junkie right here.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see the shirt that I'm wearing?
No, he doesn't, but
It's
No,
a
don't.
Chevy shirt. So
yeah, like old school Chevy.
yeah, them's his fighting words. But I
No,
will
I
give
love
you,
the cars. Don't get me wrong.
the Tesla is a very sexy looking car. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
However, just thinking about all the tiny little lithium ion cells in there, just the thousands of them, and just thinking about how bad that is for like recycling and stuff, it just
it's going to be okay.
He's very, very passionate. That's what we call it.
okay.
Nah.
Yeah, but
Quote, unquote.
I like electric cars in general. I really do. So it's kind of like split
Well,
personality.
and electric motors are nuts when it comes to torque. Like if you could get the semis.
Welcome to the
running
car
on electric
podcast.
Motors. What?
Jason.
I said, welcome to the car podcast.
Okay, all right.
Welcome to Top Gear.
So Jason was saying, "Oh, well, it's cool, but there's not really much we can say." Well, guess what?
We can say lots about this next one.
This next
probably.
story, everyone
Yeah.
knows about Walmart, right?
Yeah, and everyone
that?
likes to rag on Walmart.
On who?
Shut up.
Yes, I'm an asshole. Anyway.
Because in addition to being open on Thanksgiving, in addition to underpaying its workers and taking up collectives because its own employees need food stamps, Walmart is jerks. Therefore, a lot of people are seeing it as a comeuppance that they have been tricked into offering PS4s for a little over $90 by a fake Amazon ad. Yes, they love to advertise how much they price match, but now it's definitely coming to backfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My biggest takeaway from the story when I first read it was, wait, I can price match with Amazon?
You can
Well-
price match with Amazon almost anywhere.
Yeah, well, like, it never even occurred to me, partially because I'm kind of an idiot sometimes. But, like, so I'm sitting there like, I can get so much shit for so much cheaper now.
Yeah, well, I used to work at Best Buy, and we price match Amazon all the time there. But see, I don't know about before I started working there, obviously. But when I started working there, they had things like, we will price match Amazon, but not marketplace sellers. It has to be shipped and sold by Amazon.
Ah,
That makes sense.
Which makes sense, because you can't really guarantee that some other person selling an object is selling the exact same object as an actual retail store. So it made sense.
Yeah.
But the whole part of this story was that Walmart was price matching marketplace sellers, third-party sellers that were companies or individual people that they have no idea who these people are. And they're just like, oh, yeah, it's on Amazon, so we're going to price match it. That's mind-boggling to me. It's like...
Which, like, it's hard to have, like, the employee policies where it's kind of train and talk to as little as possible those who are on register at Walmart.
Yeah.
And still expect them to know the difference between, you know, a marketplace seller and a Amazon seller and, you know when not to, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but from my understanding of the several articles that have been around this is Walmart's policy, like corporate policy, said nothing about marketplace or actual Amazon selling it. It was just like, if it's on Amazon, match the price. Which, to me, demonstrates a fundamental lack of understanding of the online marketplaces that are out there.
Yeah.
Well, combined with the whole customer's always right, even if they're screeching at you attitude that they train their employees with. I don't know if it's anything like when I was working in retail, but, you know, when I was working in retail, the idea was if your customer has an expired coupon, if they have a price matching offer, if they have... you know, if they're asking for any special favor, it is not for you, the little peon associate, to question. You just change the price and let them go on their merry way. And if it becomes a problem, then the higher-ups can deal with it, usually by disciplining you. But it's not supposed to be your problem. So, of course...
That's a terrible, terrible policy.
It
That's
is a
awful.
terrible policy. But, you know, the point being, if a customer says, hey, I have this Amazon deal... change the price of my PS4, of course the employee's not even going to think about it and be like, well, okay, this looks legit to me.
Yeah.
So mostly my point is, what the hell were you expecting, Walmart? But, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. True enough.
Yeah. Well,
like, I want to feel bad for them, but one, it's Walmart. And two, they didn't have a policy in place to prevent it. So both counts. Fuck you, it's your fault, and you deserve it.
yeah.
Okay, but this is all just a white hat, black hat hacker debate again. Just reskinned, because it's like, as much as I don't like Walmart for its many, many sins.
Special place in hell and all that.
Yes, the very special hell reserved for child molesters and people who talk at the theater. But the thing is... okay, first of all, like you said, lack of training of employees. What the hell? If you look at something that says, hey, look, this price thing says, and these are people bringing it in or like showing them on the phone.
Yeah, no, you can show them on your phone.
Show them on the phone.
So if I'm an employee, even if, I mean, you have to be dumb as a brick. It's like, if you don't know what to do, your first option is, your first idea is, oh, well, I'll just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Don't you ask, like, your manager guy, and he'll probably be stupid too, so he has to ask his manager. I mean, well, that's ideal.
Yeah. Speaking from having worked there, like I'm smart enough to know that looks weird, but I don't give a shit enough to actually do anything about it.
Well, it's not even that. It's, the rule is, cover your ass. And the easiest way to cover your ass is to make sure the customer doesn't go complain.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Item numero uno. Customer is happy, you keep job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you say, okay, so they go in there and you're saying Walmart deserves it, you know, and it's like, I don't disagree with that for the sins as previously mentioned.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like dirty inside doing something like that?
Yeah, I
Does
think
it blacken your soul?
that's
just a
kind of
bit?
the crux of it. It's like, I wouldn't do that. 'Cause I wouldn't feel right about it. But
But you don't feel
That's
bad
Some
that
dick
anyone
is
else
going
is
to
doing
do it.
Yeah.
So
If I were the person that did it, I would feel terrible and like that was dishonest and bad and I'm a terrible person. Watching other people do it who apparently don't have that feeling after they do it, I have no problems with that. I will watch them do it all day long.
So, okay, so like again, like I talked about it being, black hat hacker type thing. Do you think that for the few people that will get away with this before they close the security flaw, do you think that they like sort of deserve that discount for exposing this kind of stupidity in a company?
kind of a
almost.
finder's fee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
it's kind of hard for me to decide that because it's like, well, it's kind of shitty of you, but it was their problem and now they can fix it because you showed them that they had a problem. So I don't know. That's a hard question.
They see, it's made even harder by the fact that more people could be doing this if they weren't assholes and showed it on Twitter.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to mention because there's a picture here in the story that I found and read, and God, the bastards don't even like black out the store number or where it was, so it's like they know when and who was on register, and they know exactly who to come down on.
Oh God.
And you know
I
they're
pity
gonna
that
do it.
associate.
He's gonna get screwed.
He or she.
Oh,
Z.
Z.
Yeah. Well,
no,
this happened
I only
a couple
say that
different
because
times, I think. I think there were like 4 or 5 PlayStation 4s or different items that were bought like this.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So for any person, individual that sold a customer this, I mean, they're going to just be destroyed. I think. I mean, I'm interested to see the fallout from this, but I don't think we'll ever find
Oh no.
No.
No, they're gonna
We'll
keep
never
it
see it.
way hush hush. Unless somebody goes to the press.
Yeah. I'm hoping some like poor little old lady gets crucified for it in Walmart, and then they go to the press.
Hoping?
No.
And goes to the press.
And then she goes to the press, and Walmart has to restructure their entire bullshit because they're terrible.
Yeah.
a war veteran.
Walmart.
An amputee war veteran. Who's like beloved by the entire community and only works at Walmart because he's retired and he likes talking to people and cheering them up.
And has 3 young children.
Young children? Young
Grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was like, man, is he just kind of, sowing his seeds at an old age?
He's so beloved that young women wish to bed him.
Oh, man. So
So that's my dream scenario: is that they get their comeuppance and Walmart gets crucified because they did a crucifixion and all that and biblical reference number 8.
Yeah, but Walmart does
kinds
terrible
of-
shit all the time and nobody ever cares. So that's not gonna happen.
I think people care. They just don't care enough to actually do anything.
Supposedly going to be a lot of protests at various Walmarts across the country, something like 1,200 of them, for
Because they're-
being open on Thanksgiving. So.
Are they open all day on Thanksgiving?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it's shitty either way, but I'm
Here's
like gauging
the
how
thing
shitty.
with that though. There's a lot of companies you need to protest then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need
It's
to
true,
protest Walmart. You need to protest Best Buy.
Walmart.
You need to protest, I
Walmart
think,
started
Target.
Yeah.
Like, you need to protest almost every retail outlet except for Costco.
Oh, yeah. Well, like that's the thing though is the people protesting, I want to say, are actually employees.
Yes, it's employees that are protesting, not just
Oh.
people.
Well,
Because
good for them then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
when you said protest, I was thinking, are they what grounds are they doing this on? Because I assumed by protest you meant like on principle. No, these are the employees. Because
Yeah, they're
I was
saying-
like, it's not even a religious holiday. What are they protesting? But if it's that they have to work on Thanksgiving, that kind of blows. But
Yeah.
Well, and especially where Walmart did kind of lead the trend on, everywhere across the nation may be opening super early on Black Friday, but on Thanksgiving, it is the American holiday. Everything is closed except for like the hospital.
And then
And
Walmart,
that's great. And then Walmart was like, you know what? Actually, you want a day with your family, but the thing is, we really want money, so...
they're so it's like equal parts un-American and American all at the same time.
Well,
Oosh.
and it's a terrible thing because not only are they doing it, but because Walmart's so big, it's influencing all the other places to do it as well. Like last year, which was when I worked at Best Buy, I think, was the first year they'd ever been open on Thanksgiving, and they did it because everybody else was going to be open on Thanksgiving. So you had to be there at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and Kohl's is jumping on the bandwagon this year too.
Yeah.
All the big retailers are starting to get that way.
Yeah.
And it's
like
sad.
I don't get why Black Friday is even really a thing, because the last couple of times, like I've gone to Black Friday twice in my life. Both times I walked in and was just like, nope, and left. Like,
well,
yeah,
the deals aren't even that good. That's part of the problem. Like the deals are good on shitty things you shouldn't buy in the first place, 90% of places. Like, working at Best Buy, it was like, oh, there's this laptop for $100. It was like a $200 laptop. Normally, it's like, yeah, I don't care what you're doing, you shouldn't buy that laptop. It's a piece of shit. It's going to break in 6 weeks.
Offering a deal on something you wouldn't buy anyway is not a deal.
Well, and it's like, the last time I went, I think, was 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and me and my brother went because there was a super good deal on a PS3 at Wal-Mart, I want to say. And like, they had just enough of the aisles clear that we found an associate to ask like how the deal worked, because we're like, there's 1.5 million people and we don't know how any of this works. And like, the dude full on said, oh yeah, we've already sold out of those. And it's just like,
yeah, you have to be like the first in line to get anything.
Yeah, because like, they only, like, in the super good deals on actually good stuff, they only stock like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Usually.
Well, and I've never shopped on Black Friday. I've only worked on Black Friday. Yeah. But just seeing the absolute insane frenzied levels of just violence.
Well, I mean, somebody dies
on the one day.
Yeah. Somebody dies every year.
Yeah, somebody dies.
Well,
and people are just like, whatever.
There's an average of seven tramplings, and that's just tramplings. That's not even like actual other physical violence.
Fist fights. Like, there are cops lining the streets on Black Friday because, or at least every year I've worked them, because people get in fights. And let's go back to the whole thing. You have to hold a funeral for somebody's mother, father, aunt, nephew, whomever. You have to put them in the ground and say, goodbye, we are never going to speak to you again. Because you really wanted a goddamn Cabbage Patch doll?
No, not because they did, but because someone else who killed
several hundred else's.
It's a wonderful world we live in, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, normally I'm not
in rant mode, so I'm just gonna shut up now. But
normally I'm not like super anti-consumer, like consumer culture person. I like a lot of that stuff, but Black Friday is taking it way too far, especially now that online shopping's a thing and Cyber Monday's a thing. It's like, one, you can get most of the Black Friday deals online, and two, Cyber Monday deals are usually better deals than what happened on Black Friday, especially on tech stuff, which what it's kind of meant for. And you can do both of those things online without leaving your house. You don't have to wear pants if you don't want to. Just sit there and buy stuff, and you can shop like 6 to 8 different stores or more. And it's so much better. And people are like, nope, I'm going to go get in that line, and I'm going to take the chance of getting one of the 10 shitty deals out there. It makes no sense to me. I don't get it.
Jason, so like when I was a kid, when I first explained Black Friday to me, it's like, oh yeah, there's all, it's where a whole bunch of stuff goes on sale and people go out and buy stuff after Thanksgiving. And I'm like, okay. I asked why it was called Black Friday, because I didn't know. I had thought that it was because all these terrible things happen on Black Friday, and it was just like black as in evil.
Well,
it turns out it's black because it's profit, so it's like, it's kind of cool, the double meaning there.
Yeah. Terrible things happen.
Well,
and one thing too, like about the Cyber Monday and why it's better is when, they have 40 PS4s online for sale and they sell out in 10 minutes and you were the 41st trying to get it. You don't like go stab somebody to get a PS4. You're just like, aww, and check
like, well, damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, last year I read an interesting report on how many people managed to shop the sales, at 2 and 3 a.m. and then like get in accidents on the way home because they fall asleep at the wheel. That's apparently like a pretty big deal too. I just forgot about it till now.
The adrenaline wears off.
Yeah, no. Like there was a teenager who was killed in like Oklahoma because she just fell asleep at the wheel, ran right off the road. And there was like, I guess there was a few hundred people who were like in serious accidents because of it.
Yeah.
It's
But
just a bad idea that we should end permanently.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, on the subject of having to work at a Walmart on Thanksgiving right before Black Friday. Okay, I worked at Walmart for like a 5 to 6 month period. And let me just say, the Walmart break room is where dreams go to die.
Oh,
And
yes.
I can't even imagine the atmosphere that like the night before Black Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Have it like
I'm trying, I just can't.
break room at the store I worked at, which, full disclosure, I worked at Kohl's. Not the best, not the worst. They would buy us lunch because, you know, our management team was actually some pretty decent people. And so at exactly 12:05 or 6:05 or whatever your little hour break was, which never really ended up being a full hour because corporate
Because
America.
that hell.
Yeah.
You would the person would come and switch you so that they could take over your station. You'd file into the break room, and we'd all silently take our little bagged lunch and sit down at the table and just stare off into space, half-heartedly munching on a cookie or whatever was
It's
in
like
the
that,
box.
that 1,000-yard stare
Yeah.
Vietnam veterans.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
and-
They're just
it's not quite that bad at Best Buy. When I worked Black Friday there, it's probably one of the better places to work a Black Friday. At least the Best Buy that I worked at, they had everything perfectly organized. They had lines set up outside. They explained to every single person how it was going to work. We have different colored tape on the floor telling people where to go for different things and to line up at the registers. And they bought us like a ton of really delicious barbecue for our lunch breaks. So it was a lot better. It was still,
And
because the actual work wasn't bad. The break room wasn't bad. Like, we have some decent stuff to do there, and our management and the other people we work with are great. The only problem with Black Friday there is the people who go to Black Friday.
oh, yeah.
It's always the
Nuts.
customer. But luckily, I was told by my supervisor, and this is not the official Best Buy policy because they could probably get in trouble if it was, but I don't know. It's like, Black Friday is the one day of the year where you get to be a dick to the customer. If they start yelling at you, tell them to get the fuck out of the store. Like, you are in charge, and if they fuck with you, they don't get to be there anymore. So that was kind of cool. And I heard that from my supervisor and my manager. The store manager was a little bit like, well, not really, but...
Not really, but I'm not gonna
say
know,
no,
yell at you.
but I'm not gonna tell you it's okay.
Yeah. Plausible deniability.
Exactly. So, Black Friday at Best Buy wasn't terrible.
Yeah. Well, and Black Friday, Best Buy was the only time my brother went with my cousin once, and that was the only time he ever came home with anything was at Best Buy.
Well, Best Buy is a little bit of a special case because it does specialize in such particular, like, their store is sectioned in such a particular way. I mean, it's not really a store that's built for wandering around and thinking, oh, I need more towels. Okay, I could use another soap dish. Why don't we, that one's on sale. Let's get that shirt, you know?
Yeah, because most stores, like, if somebody goes in there, everybody will have to deal with them because they can be in there for anything. But at Best Buy, it was like somebody went in there to get a camera. It's like, well, they're going to stay in the camera section. I'm over in computers. I'm not even going to have to talk to that person.
Yeah.
well, and like, you know, how Walmart's are designed, so like, you know, milk and eggs and stuff, you know, like really things that people get on a, you know, weekly basis are like in the back of the store.
Oh, yeah.
And they're designed like that. Best Buy being not really made of consumables is more like, well, consumables, I guess.
No, that's the proper term.
Yeah, well, you know, you're not necessarily buying a PS4 every week, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they don't have to design it like that to like trap people in the labyrinth, so they have to buy more.
Well, the other thing is because Best Buy carries different grades of each kind of electronics, you can kind of do your research and know exactly what to expect in terms of quality. Whereas in my experience, you would have the customer come running up to the jewelry counter for the special deal on the diamond necklace that was like half off, and then they would get upset when they realized that it was half off because the diamond in it looks like a rock. and it doesn't have any sparkle, and it's got, black chips inside of it, and you say,
and the ad was photoshopped,
and the ad is always photoshopped,
yeah.
and there's nothing you can do. They can take it or leave it, but they don't feel like taking or leaving it until they've given you a piece of their mind.
Because they're so entitled to give you that always.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
But, like,
They're the customer.
like what happens in real life when you have to give someone a piece of their mind is they give you a piece of their fist in your face.
Yeah.
At least that never happened to me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I hate about the customer is always right mentality, which I hate that mentality for a lot of reasons and think it's the most stupid thing that corporate America and like retail stores have ever come up with to make their customers feel valued. But it's like, well, you're going to have to sit here and listen to what I have to say about this because I'm the customer and you should listen and respect me. It's like, I don't give a shit about you. All that money you're spending at this store, it's not going to fucking me. It's going to the corporate assholes in fucking Chicago or New York. It's like, I don't give a shit how much money you spend here a year.
But even if you are the corporate assholes on the receiving end of all that money, is it really a good, like, you say the customer's always right because then they'll keep your business. But really, I mean, someone who's causing that much extra overhead for the customer service and all these exceptional cases that need to be handled.
Yeah.
Do you wonder if that maybe causes like that extra overhead outweighs the one person's contribution?
Well, they do blacklist people, especially if they do a lot of returns.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say this right now while we're on this subject. Okay. I know someone who works at Costco, and they have a wonderful return policy where you can return practically any non-consumable, like food item. You can return anything after almost any period of time. So,
and
That's pretty common.
they do.
oh, the gall of some of these people. They will buy like a 70-inch not plasma because that plasma sucks, but whatever TV is good.
Plasma's awesome. That's a different discussion, but plasmas are awesome.
Oh, boy.
Okay. But they'll buy like a really awesome thing, some like picnic table, chairs, all this stuff, and then they'll bring it back after the weekend or after a big game or something. Yeah. And there's this one person that brought back a vacuum, like a vacuum, 5 years later. And it was all used and stuff, and it was broken.
Man.
They said, "Yeah, this is broken. I don't want it." People actually think this is okay, they're beating the system or something. It's like, no, you're not smart. You're just an asswipe. That's the difference.
I can't even.
It was a regular
Right?
thing at Kohl's for customers to buy an item of clothing, take it home, wear it until it started, fading and getting stretched out, or their children outgrew it, and then bring it back,
And they
years
somehow
later.
kept the labels.
And
stuff
because the label inside is still printed with the UPC, you can still technically return it. But it's clearly not sellable, and you've worn it a million times, and so, and some
Don't you
of
have,
these
like, a
ladies would actually
day
keep their
return
receipts for this
policy,
entire
though?
time. It was just insane. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you go to that much trouble? At some point, you have to recognize that it is worth giving up your money so that you can have something you want without having to keep track of it.
Don't they have like a 30-day return policy or something?
Oh no! Nope, not at Kohl's.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. At Best Buy, we have a 15-day return policy.
Electronics are special.
And
Yeah.
admittedly, like, me and my brother did do what we used to call it was a GameStop rental because they had the 7-day return policy on games.
Oh.
You bastard.
No. Like, no, I'm
It's
getting to this.
GameStop. Fuck GameStop.
Yeah.
Make them go out of business.
Exactly.
Oh,
At
yeah.
least they're closed on Thanksgiving.
That's true. The only time, like, admittedly, we were cool because the only time we ever actually used it is if the game genuinely was just terrible,
Yeah.
or if, like, we sat down and played it for 4 hours the first day and had finished it already. Like, that's the only time we took advantage of that. But you got to know, there has to be someone out there who grabbed Final Fantasy 19 or whatever and took it home and just sat down and played it. And then returned it, and I'm like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. That's true.
And this is all fed by that, again, like you said, this idea that was spawned in for large corporations of the customer's always right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what allows this kind of behavior, the price matching. They have this policy, and then people come up to them and say, oh, well, we have this, and doesn't that mean that? And you know, they have no option because they're trained for the customer's always right. And they say, okay, well, yeah, here's your thing. Okay, we'll have to give it to you for that price.
Yeah.
And then you end up with getting a PS4 for $99.
And just to bring this one last round, like the best part about my particular Sam's Club where I worked was that if ever you had a customer who was like threatening to go to Costco or whatever, our managers were perfectly okay with you saying, okay, go. Like just calling them on that bullshit. And that was like my favorite thing about working there. Yeah. Everything else sucked. And in fact, the glazed war-torn eye thing was just a daily occurrence at the Sam's Club break room. But, you know, anyway, we should probably change subjects now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We obviously all have a lot to say.
Yeah, entertainment news and stuff, and it's just like, I've got us talking about...
Well, we're so close to Thanksgiving, and this is going to be releasing, like, what?
The Monday before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really close to it.
So technically today is the 23rd.
Right.
If you have a grievance or thoughts on Black Friday or your experiences in retail as a customer or as a associate, please post them below because we'd love to hear your horror stories.
Yeah.
Yes, we enjoy them.
They feed us.
We drink your tears.
Well, it makes me feel better about my own experiences.
Yeah, that's true. Catharsis.
It's like,
and all
I feel
that.
your pain.
Yes. Big group hug in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's
moving on.
Speaking of group hug and pain, the television network G4 will officially be going completely off air in the not too distant future.
Isn't this coming off the heels of them supposedly rebranding as like the GQ channel or some shit?
They were going to become Esquire.
They were.
And then because one of the other channels that NBC Universal is like the head of had more concurrent viewers, they decided to rebrand that channel so it would have more initial viewers. And then they're just completely dropping G4. And I'm happy the G4's gone. I'm really happy that it's gone. I loved Tech TV and G4 Tech TV when they merged, and G4 just after they started just being G4. G4 the past 3-4 years has been unwatchable television. Just terrible. So I'm glad it's gone, but there was so much good that came out of it before. X-Play, Adam Sessler is still one of my favorite people in the gaming industry. I respect his opinion more than pretty much anybody else.
So I still have one of his official T-shirts from Rev 3 before he left, who is also closing, ironically.
Yeah, that's true. Rev 3 is. Yeah, I mean, there were so many good shows from Tech TV and G4 when they were together, and so many personalities that are still out there.
So if someone like me who didn't ever really have cable television back then when G4 was like at the height of its power, could you what made you like it so much?
Well,
what was on it?
It was mostly the people. Like when I first started watching, because it's Tech TV. It had like all the consumer electronic shows. It had stuff on. It had a lot of shows that I didn't really care about, but were still kind of cool because. That was the first time I saw like a fridge with a TV screen in it was on Tech TV because they were at that doing that kind of shit. And some shows were that, but all the shows I watched were about video games, like X-Play. I loved X-Play as a kid. And Adam Sessler, he's still one of my favorites, like we mentioned. What was that other one? It was the two guys that, and
it's
they
not
would
Attack
both
of the
rate
Show,
it.
is it?
No,
it's probably what preceded Attack of the Show, which was the Screensavers.
No, I was talking about the review show, but that one was good too.
I can't remember
what I'm talking about.
One of the people in it was Tommy Tallarico. I can't remember.
Him.
I cannot remember what the name of the show was.
Yeah, and it was him and one other guy, and they would just review games, but they would offer two differing opinions on it. So then often one would love it and the other one would hate it, and they'd explain why, and it was great, and I loved that show.
It was a really good show. And I don't remember which one of these started with Tech TV and which one started with G4, but X-Play was a great review show, and they added a lot of like humor into the show, which was really funny at the time. I don't know if it would be anymore, but it appealed to me back then. But X-Play was great. They had a show called Cinematech, which was basically like all the cutscenes from different video games, and that was it. It didn't have gameplay.
I remember that one.
Just showed that. They also had Anime Unleashed, which was an anime block that showed some anime that wasn't on like Cartoon Network's Adult Swim or Toonami blocks, which was usually
generally because it was too gory for either of
even
them,
Adult Swim. So it was really good stuff. There was also I think it was called Arena, where it was basically like 2v2 tournaments in different games. Like there would be different games in each round, and they'd go against each other. So there was just really cool video game and tech centric stuff. Like one of the shows that came definitely from Tech TV was called Call for Help, which was basically a tech show where you'd call in and be like, hey, I'm having these problems with my computer, and the people on the air would try and help you troubleshoot it or give you some advice.
That's cool.
Like in Screensavers, I don't remember very well, but it was basically the predecessor to Attack of the Show, but it was more tech centric, focused on like computers and different stuff like that was going on. So the shows were about stuff that really interested me, tech and video games, but the personalities that sprang up from it, mostly Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb, Kevin Pereira a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of his, but he's an alright guy. There are a lot of people that sprung up from it. Blair Butler. There's a lot of people that I just really, really liked that came from that network.
Yeah. Well, and and that's the same reason, like, I started watching Rev 3 for that same reason, because it was like a bunch of stuff, interesting shows about stuff that I cared about, and then randomly just the shows just started getting terrible. Like, even when Adam Sessler was involved, just like the writing for like the other people was just like stupid.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the path they all take, and it's just really sad.
It does kind of seem like the game and tech channels that start out really good, Tech TV and G4 TV, just get dumber and dumber. Like they're not taking their own content seriously, and they're treating their viewers like they're stupid or immature, and so they give you stupid and immature content. And it's like, I don't really want that. I care about these things. I want them to be treated well. I don't want this juvenile stuff that you guys pull all the time. Which is what Attack of the Show became. Like, it started out all right, but it became terrible. I couldn't watch it anymore after a while.
Yeah, I bet you anything it's pressure from network executives.
Absolutely.
They're like, we want you to apply to the 13-year-old demographic, because that's the only people who watch us.
Well, yeah, that's...
Well, and one thing about shows, I haven't no reference on these particular shows, but again, my brother and my father are both into muscle cars and stuff, and really engines in general. That's really that they like doing. And the shows that they watch, they have like this, I think it's called Power Nation TV, and it's like a block of shows on like the Speed Channel or something. I can't remember. But the thing with that really bugs me is when they have like they'll have some bimbo chick that kind of just overly cutesy, the way that they have them present stuff, and it just kind of gets annoying, like the way that they have the people do it. Again, it's sort of like treating the viewer like they're stupid or sort of trivializing some content.
And that
G4
definitely happened to G4.
Thing. Yeah, like, not that I'm saying, they had to be gamer chicks or whatever, but it's just like especially Attack of the Show, it's like 3/4 of their cast was large-breasted women, one of whom was an actual porn star who did Attack of the Show on the side.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, no,
but it was there. It wasn't like, it was there for a reason. Like, they wanted you to know that and be like, oh, I'm going to watch it to see the porn star. That was the problem with it.
See,
Is they were essentially exploiting her and being like, oh, hey, we got a porn star. Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, if all you cared about was the fact that she was a porn star, there was much easier ways to find her.
Yeah, go watch porn.
It's like watching a show with like a guest star who happens to fly fighter jets in his spare time, but he's not. It's like it's not as cool watching him on that show because he's not actually flying fighter jets on the show.
Yeah,
it's a similar thing to that.
That is the most apt metaphor.
That's a pretty decent metaphor, or analogy, or whatever it be considered. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Jason, you mentioned earlier, like you were talking about the shows and just what happened to them, what you thought, and one of them that kind of stuck in my mind was you were talking. They had one where people would call in with tech problems and they'd help them out with it. You know, I mean, I can imagine they had lots and lots of filtering to like get interesting enough ones, but I like tech support. The TV show just sounds dreadfully boring.
It was actually
I don't
really
understand.
good. Trust me,
Really?
I know it sounds terrible. It was actually a really good show. It was one of my favorite ones because they did have to filter out, so they got more interesting ones, and because it wasn't just like that wasn't the whole show. Like a good like 2/3 of the show was them going over different tech problems and stuff. Be like, here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. Here's how you fix this. If you're looking to do this, you do this. And so they would explain things, and then the last bit of the show was people calling in with different problems, and some of them would be either super quick fixes, or some would be an opportunity for the hosts to actually like teach the audience something. So it was a really good show. I know it sounds
like This
awful,
Old House,
but it
for
was a good
computers.
show.
Yeah. So that's kind of like they'd take like one of these tech blogs and just sort of cherry pick awesome stuff and say, here's this really cool thing that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, like have you guys ever got lost on not Stack Overflow in general, but Stack Exchange? Like you look when you're reading Stack Overflow or something, and you'll see in the corner and you'll see like all these questions that people ask, like for grammar or for English or like advanced topological mathematics and stuff. And it's like, and I'll be looking at all these questions, and then like the next question I'll go look at is like, you know, did J.K. Rowling set up the anagram thing for you know Voldemort before they introduced him as a character? I mean, there's all these things. And it's just, and I'll just jump from one to one to one, and just all over the map. I mean, does anyone else do that?
Oh,
ever?
I
We
do
can
it.
surf.
TV tropes.
Oh God, that website.
That place is a black hole.
Yeah, that
It'll swallow
website
your
will
soul.
kill all of your time. You will have no time.
But yeah, like the big problem with G4 in particular is toward the end, these last couple years, it's like this last year of it especially, they had actually 2 years now. Shit, it's been a while. Like they kept taking more and more of the game and tech content off, and they replaced it with eventually the entire channel was either cops or this is because they were owned by the same people as Spike TV, is why it ended up this way.
Makes sense.
But it ended up being mostly cops and Ninja Warrior
And cheaters,
except for and cheaters.
which is the worst show you could ever watch
Oh yeah, it's
Ever.
fucking terrible.
of all time.
And then there was a one block of I think it was 2 hours, and eventually just an hour and a half, where it would be show X Play, because X Play is only a half hour long, and then Attack of the Show.
Yep.
And that was the only bit of TV even worth watching on that channel.
Such
And even then, it
tragic.
wasn't really worth watching because I think a lot of those X-Play episodes were reruns, and by that point, Attack
yeah.
of the Show was terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, and here another just as a more general thing with like G4 just slowly decaying. You know, like getting totally diluted from what it originally started out as supposed to be representing. It's like the same thing in my mind happens with sci-fi. What happened with that was because it starts out as a home for science fiction on cable television. G4 started out as a home for video games and tech stuff on cable television, but over time, it's just everything that made it got thrown away. I mean, there is practically zero science fiction on the Sci-Fi Channel anymore because it's not the science fiction channel anymore.
It's sci-fi.
Well, same thing with History Channel. They have to make a whole nother History Channel for actual history shows. And then the History Channel is, you know, Pawn Stars and American Pickers and Swamp Creatures and
I
what?
like a lot of those shows that are on the History Channel. They don't belong on the goddamn History Channel. That is not the channel they should be on.
Well, yeah, because they're not bad shows in and of themselves. It's just that's not where they go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of, like, recently I watched a show called The World Wars. It's a 3-part documentary. Mm-hmm. It was actually produced by the History Channel, and I was like, oh, they're doing history?
I saw that. It was actually pretty good. I mean, I have had it up to here with all the over dramatized documentaries. Like when they do actually produce a documentary, it's like, or like, you know, did you ever, sorry.
It's almost like you have to take a disaster angle if you're going to make a documentary that's going to get on cable.
Yeah.
Which is really sad because people are smarter than that.
Like, do any of you guys watched Nova back in like PBS days, right? Oh, I love Nova.
Yeah.
And it's like where sometimes they would have like a host person they would follow around while he would like talk to people, you know, like experts in a field or something like that. And like I watched something sort of like that, like structured that way on the History Channel, and it was like there was the dramatic music and it was like the cliffhanger things at the thing, and it's like, and they would spend 5 minutes like talking to some person. Well, do you think you could show us the artifacts, and do you think you could, you know, and it's like, that is not relevant. They could just cut that completely out and show us the goddamn artifacts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Well, it's like the searching for Bigfoot shit they got on TV now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know they didn't find him because that shit would have been somewhere I would have seen.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys see...
Matrix.
what was it? On the Discovery Channel, it was like mermaids, the body uncovered or something, like the thing about the mermaids. I am sad to say I wasted like an hour of my life with that shit because I couldn't, because the whole time it held my attention completely.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out, is this serious or a parody? And I can't tell. I still don't know.
Yeah. Well, like I remember one time on the Discovery Channel, I watched it was actually pretty cool, but I watched a documentary on the giant squid because it was back when they first got footage, like and proved, yes, these things exist that are down there.
The shame monster.
Yeah. You know, and like they actually got the video footage, and I watched a fucking hour and a half build up to like 2 seconds of giant squid footage. And even though it was cool and even though it was interesting and I thought the footage was awesome, I was still kind of pissed off because I'm like, I didn't need to waste that hour and a half. This is what YouTube is for.
Yep.
And then I
That's
found
really
it on
unfortunate.
YouTube a week later.
So essentially, G4 would still be on the air if it did the cable equivalent of clickbait, is what you're saying.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So,
It still
for
wouldn't be
people that
good.
like G4,
Yeah.
for people that
Well-
like G4, what do you do now that G4 kind of left your life over the years? Like, I mean, like, do you watch specific YouTube channels to sort of fill that void, or what?
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's
Like,
mostly
well,
YouTube.
Yeah, we'll do a round table, I suppose, just to see. But like for me specifically, like I filled that void with Rev 3 for a while, but then Adam Sessler left, and I don't give a shit anymore after that. But I watch channels like I watch The Escapist, Jim Sterling, which now everyone on the internet hates me just for mentioning that guy.
Oh, stop.
And then YouTube mostly. It's like I have a few sites and stuff, and then watch tons of YouTube now.
Well, the nice thing is there are a bunch of independent production companies who will report on that kind of thing, like Rooster Teeth and that guy with the glasses and what?
That guy with the glasses?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's his
his name?
actual name.
That's the name of the site.
Oh, okay, go on. I was just...
But the trend seems to be if you want to talk about that stuff, you talk about it on your own turf, basically.
Yeah.
Which would make sense, the internet being for tech and...
Yeah, I mean, I
News.
replaced most of like the gaming content. I replaced with the Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter section because they don't really do reviews, but you can kind of see if a game's going to be good or not, whether they play it. And a lot of their other gaming content is funny, which is what a lot of the gaming content was on G4. For tech stuff, I replaced it with the YouTube channels Linus Tech Tips and Tech Syndicate. So I get all my tech stuff from those guys. And then for like the replacement for the show Arena, there's now like Twitch TV and stuff like that where you can watch competitions and games and stuff all the time. So I found just different web production stuff that replaced pretty much all of G4's content.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Idea Channel, which I know I've shown you.
Yeah, and I like that. So. The guy needs to lay off the meth, though. He really needs to lay off the meth.
That's yeah.
I mean, so it's sad that it's closing down, but at least there are replacements.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The only reason it's sad is just because it's like when I was first starting to be like, ooh, I like video games more than just this is a thing I do. I like tech. That's when G4 was around for me. It was like,
yeah.
and I remember spending entire days just watching G4, and that's
It's
why it's
nice
sad.
background noise at the very least.
Yeah, it's not really sad that it's closing now. It's sad looking back on what it was and what it became.
Yeah.
And like what it meant to us in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't be as sad about this kind of thing, about watching these channels that I love decaying into nothing. If I saw things coming to replace them on network TV, I mean, but like we went over, we just, you know, you can find replacements on the internet because the internet is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still kind of breaks my heart that it's like there's still the same, it's more channels on, and yet there's less to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
TV.
Yeah. Unless you like, if you know the right YouTube stuff, like I now have nearly as many YouTube channels that I follow as you could have on a basic cable subscription.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, or you could read a book. There's no idea.
I do that on occasion as well. Sometimes I'm a little baffled because words.
I do that when I can
Words with
find
no
a
pictures?
book that I actually like.
Oh, have you
You
guys
sound like
like
my brother.
you guys find yourself reading a book, especially like anything technical, like a textbook or references, and you like reach for the control F, you like look for the search.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that occasionally.
Oh, I've learned to love appendixes.
Yeah.
Or appendices.
Well,
Indexes.
Indexes. Yeah,
Appendices usually are kind of not
Well, yeah.
interesting.
Well, it depends on the appendices. Like, I'm not sure what the plural of that is. Like, but yeah, like I'll often find the stuff I'm looking for in the appendix quicker than.
But anyways, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in more television news,
Wait, does it qualify as television?
Yes,
what's
actually. Well, web
media
TV.
consumption
G4, definitely television.
news. Australia gets Netflix now because they didn't before, and so now you guys can watch it without VPNs and stuff. And
Except for you can only watch a few things that they decided, yeah, we'll give that to them. So it's still gonna kind of suck, but you know,
Well,
I wouldn't get rid of your VPNs quite yet. I keep those going.
well, the biggest problem with the Australian stuff is they have some really weird, archaic, like censorship laws.
Yes, they do.
they have some weird ones. We have some weird ones.
Oh, theirs are worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure theirs are way worse, but like every country has its own weird set of censorship
Wait, how
laws.
are you sure Australia's censorship laws are worse? I don't even know any of their laws.
Okay,
I
like-
don't even know our censorship laws in detail.
Well,
we
they don't get certain releases of like games. And
Yeah, like,
movies and
yeah.
things
Up until
because-
recently, they missed like 3/4 of the video game releases because they wouldn't release in Australia because something about the game hit Australia's censorship, so they wouldn't rate it.
yeah, and
like,
they can't
nothing that was
sell
ever-
games that aren't rated there.
So that's why they haven't got Netflix yet, is what you guys are kind of
That's
implying.
part of it. I mean, it's not all of it. I'm sure there's licensing and copyright disputes and different things like that for different
Yeah.
regions, but it's a multifaceted issue, but they're finally getting at least some things.
Yeah,
Or you
No,
could
and
get a
it's-
VPN and watch everything.
that sounds like the easier way to go.
It's kind of funny watching how all of our countries, they have all these laws that are based on these geographical regions, and yet the internet connects people and exposes them to like pretty much one community that isn't really censored easily. And it's like kind of seems stupid that on the internet they can access whatever the hell they want uncensored, but you can't get Netflix because you might see something that you see. It just seems kind of pointless. I don't know.
Oh, it is.
Well, and you get a lot of those around here. I mean, if you get online in Utah, you can watch all the porn you want. But
Which they do.
Oh,
so
yes.
much.
And they pay for it too.
I think
Yeah.
Utah is like one of the
Not really.
leaders in porn consumption in the
yeah.
state, I believe, right?
Of paid porn prescriptions, subscriptions.
It
Yes.
should be prescribed for most of them, actually.
And well, that doesn't necessarily
But-
mean Utah is the leader in porn consumption, but they're the dumbest porn consumers because they're paying for all of it.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it really is a quality versus quantity.
Yes.
Anyway,
Some people want to
you
watch
can
those
watch it on the
webcams.
internet.
Some people just gotta have those live webcams. Hey, those cam girls.
Hey,
Jasmine wants to speak to you.
yes, she wants to talk to me. But so you can go online. You can watch it all you want. But if you want to buy a Playboy subscription and have it shipped to your house, if you want to buy a DVD and have it shipped to your house, no. You cannot have physical porn brought across state lines. That's not, no, you can't.
You can't do that?
Unless, no.
No.
In Utah, it's illegal to distribute porn.
I've totally done
It
that.
has to be, it's technically instructional videos is
Yeah.
what you buy at the store if you're going to.
Well, no, I ordered
well-
one online and they shipped it to me.
Oh, they could get in trouble.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, why not?
Also, please tell me your source. No,
Later.
just kidding.
Yeah, no, like with some exceptions being, of course, FYE, because all FYEs have a giant ass porn section, usually behind the anime.
Yeah.
that
That always bothered me because it's like porn and anime right next to each other. It's like, well, people are gonna obviously think I'm looking at porn. I just want to buy the new season of Dragon Ball Z or whatever anime is popular at that point.
Well,
it's really
like, damn it.
It's because those are their two smallest demographics.
Yeah.
Is people who buy porn and people who buy anime. So
Or the people who buy anime porn. It's back there too.
yeah,
There
that's
you go.
true.
kill two birds. with one
Ironically,
stone.
still easier to buy in Utah than regular porn.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's animated.
So
I
they're
just
like,
had
oh,
a
it's
thought
not
here
real.
with.
Back on topic.
Sorry, I had a thought here about this. Okay, so Netflix is going to be coming to Australia next year, and that's great for those people because they should have had that already. Just thinking about how shitty United States internet connections usually are, I'm curious at how they're probably like. Do you think they'll get the 4K stuff all up and going as a standard thing before we do? I mean, even if they haven't had Netflix as
Australia's
long as we
internet
have?
is generally worse than ours, so I doubt it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know for
It's an
sure,
average,
but I've
like,
heard some
5
horror
Mbps.
stories about Australia's network and everything over there. It's worse than ours.
Yeah. Well, and it's like even in places where speeds are similar, like the connections themselves are terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to keep a constant.
Yeah, like the line
Wow, those-
quality isn't as good and stuff like that.
All those wallabies keep chewing on the power cables, and
See, you laugh, but that could definitely be a legit thing over there for all we
No,
know.
you see, the problem is giant spiders laid their eggs in it.
you know.
That's all that's in that country is giant spiders and other things.
And
killing-
Minox.
I just want to say, in case
Drop
anybody
it.
from Australia is listening to this, we're not making fun of your network. We're sorry for your network. You should have a much better network. So should we,
Yes,
but
deserve
you should have a
better.
lot better than what you have. And the
'Cause
internet
PD is
providers
so
over
much
there
better.
are screwing you almost worse than ours is over here screwing us.
Almost.
Misery loves company, so Australians, we're your people.
We love you so much.
Oh man! So I don't have anything else any intelligent thoughts left about Netflix in Australia
Yeah.
because honestly, the idea of Australia and Netflix.
Wait. We're supposed to have intelligent thoughts?
Stop.
He's like, let the secret out.
No, don't.
We're all stupid.
Shit. I need to start thinking.
It's okay. It's okay. We're about out of time anyway.
Okay.
Oh, great! I love this part. This is my favorite part of the show where we stop.
Don't you mean where we try to stop and
fail?
Get derailed 6 times.
Okay. So
Last thoughts. Anyone?
well, could I mention the other little things just real quick?
rapid fire go?
Okay. So, cool thing. In the solar cells department, they, as you know, solar cells usually are silicon crystals, which are kind of hard to fabricate, kind of fragile and stuff like that. They've been looking for a way to manufacture really long sheets of flexible solar panels that can be done with existing technologies. And guess what? They seem to have something at the University of North Carolina, I believe. Yeah, paired with some people from Hong Kong. They discovered a way to use carbon fullerenes and polymers and sort of do like a evaporative chemical deposition thing where they create these really long flexible solar or sheets of flexible solar panels. And the cool thing about that is not only is that doable on an industrial scale, probably without very much modification, but the fact that they broke the efficiency record for this particular kind of I think it's organic polymer solar cells. It was originally like let's see, the efficiency was the efficiency they've got now is 10.8%, which is great. I think the old one was like 9.6 or something. So I mean, modest gains.
Baby steps.
So there's that. That's cool. The only other thing that I would like to mention in the tech department, again, Jason, things that I wish I knew more about. They came up with a little thing that would allow transmitters to work full duplex on radio wave bands. So that means they can transmit and receive on the same band at the same time, and it effectively doubles the bandwidth. And the way they're able to do this, like the original machines that would do this kind of thing, I think by messing with polarized light and changing the way that it's the angle, called a circularizer or something is what they were calling it. But the original devices like that are 75 times larger than this device they created, which is about 2 centimeters. And so, long story short, something like this could be allowing you to have better stuff in your phone or tablet or something in the future. So, fun stuff.
Better wireless connections.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yes.
So
science.
Awesome stuff.
Science! You blinded me with it.
All right, that's a nice up note to close on.
Yeah.
Yay. E over high C.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
Anyone else?
Nope.
Last thoughts?
That's everything I've got.
Sweet. Well, thanks for tuning into End User Input. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you were thoroughly entertained or just a little bit entertained. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's End User Input podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and favorite, and leave a comment below. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at the links provided below. Also follow the links to relevant content. See you next week.